Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I'm just picking up on the video I made yesterday about the dump of refuge in a embankment next to a motorway next to the River Cherwell in Oxfordshire. Yeah, Oxfordshire. So I'm picking up on this because it relates to something that I want to talk about in a second, and I think it's a real issue that we need to address in the UK. And like I said, I'll get onto that in a second. Before I do that, I just want to say, click the link down below to register or support my new channel. It gives me another outlet that lets me talk about things that this channel might be suppressing, or YouTube might be suppressing on this channel. I've noticed that whenever I move outside of the boundaries of what's acceptable to talk about, the videos don't do very well on this channel. And it's not because you guys aren't watching, it's just because no one sees it. So I've started a new channel to allow fresh eyes to see things that I want people to talk about, or I think people should notice. Not saying it's going to be foolproof, but it allows me to at least be one step ahead of the censorship, which we all know is happening on YouTube. So if you can click on the link below, subscribe to the new channel, I'd really appreciate it. Now, this massive mountain of waste that was dumped right next to the River Cherwell in Oxfordshire hasn't really been reported on very much in the mainstream media. There's a few articles in newspapers and things like this, but I haven't seen any reporting on the BBC, the ITV, Sky News, anything like this. The only thing that I've really seen is GB News, and well, let's listen to what they're saying about it.
Britain's countryside has been hit by a toxic apocalypse after fly tippers dumped a 20-foot high, 500-foot long river of rubbish.
Fly tippers. Does that sound feasible, guys? Thousands and thousands of tons apparently dumped overnight by fly tippers. Now, how many lorry loads, how many white vans would that take? I mean, that would be an army of white vans, right? Unless, you know, it was a local council dumping refuge from their collection lorries. There's a big difference between what is just a fly tipper and an industrial scale operation that fills a 20-foot deep, 500 long embankments on the side of a motorway. I mean, the scale of this is unbelievable, guys. This needs to be an organized logistic operation, something that just the casual fly tipper cannot possibly do.
In rural Oxfordshire.
That is the River Cherwell. And this is a load of rubbish.
It is astounding when you see the pictures, isn't it? The mountain of waste containing plastic, foam, wood, everything in it was discovered by stunned anglers just yards from the River Cherwell. Environmental charity Friends of the Thames say this wasn't casual dumping, it's the work of an organised crime gang and more.
What does that mean? What does that mean? An organised crime gang. How does that make sense, guys? Like, please fill me in on the details. How does an organised crime gang get into the business of dumping waste on this scale without being seen? I don't like the misdirection here, because I don't think it's possible for an organised crime gang to get hold of this waste in the first place. Why would they? Why would they want to? Why would an organised crime gang have thousands of tons of waste? What looks like general waste, by the way. There's no incentive for them to get hold of that unless the council, some council, has paid them to get rid of it. And I don't think the council is blameless in this. And this is why I don't like this kind of reporting. They're leading you in a direction that makes you think this is just a random act of crime. No one's to blame. There's some criminals out there, some bad people. They've went around the bins of the UK, stealing people's waste, collecting it into one place, and then dumping it right next to the River Cherwell for some fucking reason we don't know.
On every day of delay risks, including toxic sludge seeping into the river, poisoning wildlife and contaminating the entire area. The Environmental Agency has launched an investigation and is urging anyone with information to come forward. Well, joining me down the line now to discuss this is Head of Engagement at River Action, Erica Popplewell. Erica, thank you very much for joining me. This is very disturbing. This is not like, it is a massive, massive stretch. How on earth has this happened? And I mean, I'm hoping authorities are moving quickly to remove it, but what could be the consequences if we leave it there?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me on to talk about this. This, as you say, is a really serious issue. And what we want to see now, the Environment Agency has already taken action to stop anyone having access to the site.
Okay. So they've moved immediately from solving the crime, finding out who's done it, to the real emergency is cleaning it up and who's going to pay for it. I bet this is where they're going to go right now.
They say they're looking at the causes, but what we really want them to do is to clean up the site and to take away the rubbish. Unfortunately, you said prior that this was a new case, but it really isn't. In 2003, 2004, local authorities in England dealt with 1.51 million fly tipping incidents, which was an increase of 6%.
So they're conflating this incident with general fly tipping incidents. They're again, this is like the grooming gang scandal, right? When they tried to set up the inquiry, Jess Phillips and Mahmood, right, and all these people, they set up the grooming gang inquiry, and the actual witnesses ended up leaving the grooming gang inquiry because they were trying to lump in all these different crimes to dilute the actual investigation. I'm seeing the same tactics here, guys. I'm seeing the same thing, right? Massive fly tipping thing on industrial scale, impossible for individuals or even small organised crime people, like whatever reason to do it. It's impossible for a group of criminals to just do this. This has to be organised by a local government. It has to have been. There's no way that normal people, even criminals, could do this on that scale. And yet these people are saying, oh, yeah, well, you know, there's been incidents of fly tipping all over the country. Let's talk about that instead. In fact, let's just ignore what just happened and talk about how we're going to clean it up and who's going to pay for it.
From the year before. So this isn't something new. When it's a dump this size, anything bigger than a lorry load is the responsibility of the Environment Agency rather than the local authority, because they just simply wouldn't have the resources.
Who did it?
Actually, in Parliament on Friday, the local MP said that the estimated cost of removal was bigger than the entire local authority's budget just for this one site. So it needs to be done by the Environment Agency, and they need to start clearing up now. There was a case.
The size of this this sort of rubbish river. I mean, it's next to a river. It's not in the river. We might hasten to add, but it's next to the river. It's obviously got to be something quite well organised, and they've done this. Clearly, no one spotted them doing it. It's massive. Have you got any experience or understanding of how something like this could occur?
As you say, it's huge. It can't have been one lorry on one day. It must have been happening for a sustained period of time. And I don't know the geography to know exactly how that happened, but it would be interesting to know who saw large lorries going down country lanes repeatedly and joining those dots together. There was a similar case in a place called Hodeswood in Kent, which was an ancient woodland where there was a huge amount of rubbish dumped in 2023. And it took 2 years of public pressure for that cleanup work to begin. We don't want to see that happening again. As you say, it's right by the river, and as soon as it starts raining, we had rain last night. That will mean the water from the rain is mixing with whatever is in that rubbish, and of course, where it ends up is the river. That's a tributary of the River Thames, so it's going to be flowing past Parliament in some weeks and months' time. And we want to see action taken so that the River Cherwell is usable, that by anglers, by people for leisure pursuits, for swimmers when it's warmer, or very brave swimmers at this time of year, and just for the nature to thrive. We don't care enough about nature if we're not.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. Jesus Christ. Who did it? Who did it, okay? Let's find out who did it. Is there a police investigation into this? Birmingham is just 57 miles away and they're struggling with getting rid of their refuge and their waste. The council is broke. I mean, if there was an organised gang, a criminal gang, that gained control of their refuse lorries, then yeah, I can understand how that would be logistically possible. You know, it's 1 hour away from Birmingham in the middle of the night, 100 trucks, boom, 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 gone. Now that's what I personally think, because I'm speculating, because no one else is solving this. And I hate the fact that the government and the media have convinced the British people not to speculate. That's a bad thing. Because I'll be honest, guys, the only way that we can really get to the bottom of things is by speculating. Otherwise, you don't solve anything, do you? You can't solve anything without speculating what happened and how it happened, joining together the dots. Who's the likely culprit? For me, it's the Birmingham City Council. But again, like when it comes to speculation, it's all the time now. In crimes, it's all the time. There was this is in May, like 5th of May. Public urged not to speculate after a man was arrested outside of Newcastle Station following erratic behaviour or erratic actions towards children. Well, I'm speculating straight away. What the hell does that mean? That means something very dangerous, doesn't it? If they're saying that kind of weird language. Turns out, yeah, it was a Muslim man trying to steal a child. So your speculation, the one that you had immediately, that gut instinct, yeah, that was correct. Then Shabana Mahmood, right? This is in November the 2nd. I am deeply saddened to hear about the stabbing in Huntington. My thoughts go out to all those affected. 2 suspects have been immediately arrested and taken into custody. I'm receiving regular updates on the investigation. I urge people to avoid comment and speculation at this early stage. Who could it possibly be? Is it an Englishman? It's probably a 14-year-old boy, white boy, like the one in Netflix, right? He's probably got so pissed off, he's went around stabbing. Oh, no, it was just a black guy, wasn't it? It was a black guy that had already went around stabbing people before. In fact, he's an absolute psychopath that the police should have arrested and deported a long time ago. I mean, this is just, again, it's the same thing every time. Don't speculate. Don't speculate. Please don't speculate. Although if you do, you're probably 99% on the money, right? And another one, right? This boy here, 12 years old, stabbed to death in Birmingham. This was on January 22nd. A 14-year-old has been arrested on suspicion of murder. And the police came out and said this.
I would ask the public not to speculate about what happened.
Right, okay, don't speculate about what happened. Well, I think it was probably a black kid, I'll be honest. And guess what? Because he's 14 years old, no information will ever be released. So if we can't speculate and we can't talk about it, then what the fuck are we supposed to do? Just accept that it happened and move on? Don't look back in anger? The government is a piece of shit and they're constantly lying to us and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the media covering up for the government. I'm sick of these quislings in the social media sphere covering up for them. I'm sick of being told that I'm not allowed to speculate because I'm at the stage now that if I've got a Muslim MP telling me not to speculate, that's the very first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to speculate even more. Anyway, guys, I don't know what you think, but yeah, I'm done now. I will speculate. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's fine. I don't mind being wrong, you know, but I will start speculating. What did I speculate on the other day? Oh, it was that 17-year-old girl that was murdered in her bedroom. I speculated that the guy wasn't going to be white. Well, it turns out he was called Mr. Mr. Chong. Probably, and again, this is not 100%, probably a first-generation Chinese immigrant or the son of a mixed race couple with a Chinese father or a mother. Again, not an Englishman, because Englishmen, I've never in my life heard of an Englishman doing that. Now, I've heard of terrible things that Englishmen have done, like Harold Shipman, but jumping into someone's house, stabbing them in their bedroom and then attacking their mother, I've never seen that before, never heard of that before. So, yeah, I initially thought, well, it's probably not a white guy. I'm almost 98% sure that that's correct. Speculation and gut instinct is usually correct. So when Shabana Mahmood tells you not to speculate, just go speculate even harder.
Stop that.
See you later.